Hey, how's it going? It's Russell. Today I'm going to show you how to make shredded cabbage with a beautiful, quick, fresh beetroot chutney. So the first thing we're going to need is our Napa cabbage. Now, depending on where you are in the world, in the US you'll know this as Napa cabbage. In the UK we kind of call this Chinese leaf cabbage. Chinese leaf doesn't really do it justice because that can mean bok choy, it can mean a whole other group of vegetables as well. So Napa cabbage, this is what it should look like. So we're going to take the end off, take off a couple of those older looking outer leaves, and then we're going to use half of this cabbage for 2 people. So once it's cut in half, turn it on its side. Any loose leaves that come off, just turn them around, stick them on top. And then we're going to cut this at a diagonal just because it looks so much nicer. Okay, beautiful. That's going to go in a bowl. And then we're ready to pop in the rest of our ingredients. So, a little bit of salt. I'm using grey Celtic sea salt. Some crushed chili flakes. A couple of teaspoons of melted coconut oil. A little bit of my favourite spice, cumin. And then another bit of spice in the form of powdered ginger. You could put fresh ginger in here if you wanted, it's just nice to sometimes use a little bit of variation. We've got this beautiful fresh lime here, so as you've probably seen before, just going to roll that out to make sure we get the best and the most amount of juice out of that. We're looking for about a tablespoon here. So you can measure it out perfectly if you want, but you've got a lot of leeway with this. A little bit extra, a little bit less, it's all fine. Okay, so we're going to massage this in now. Get the salt working there so it softens up our cabbage. The great thing about this Napa cabbage, this Chinese leaf cabbage, is it's actually quite a sweet cabbage. It's kind of light for a cabbage. So it doesn't need too much massaging with that salt before it starts to wilt down. And with that in there, we can add some fresh coriander. Just cut those main stalks off, bunch the rest of this up, and then just get a nice tight chop on there. And then you can go through it again. When you're doing this, when you're going through it again, try not to get your fingers on top there because they can slip down and you can end up cutting your fingers. So hand on top and just go through it a few times. So that's about 1/4 of a cup. If I packed that into a cup, people often ask me, how do you measure fresh herbs when you're cutting them? So chop it up. If I was to pack that into a 1/4 of a cup, that's what we're looking for. Let's mix that in. So that's pretty much done. Now we can work on our chutney. Okay, so this beautiful beetroot chutney, I've got my peeled beetroots here. You're gonna get yourself a box grater and just grate those down. So that size of beetroot, about 3 of those beetroot, is giving us about a cup's worth of grated beetroot. So you can grab yourself a bowl, pop that into the bowl. Then we're going to set this to one side and take a nice, beautiful, hopefully organic apple. I'm going to do a fairly fine dice on this. Okay, then again, on this, you can just go through that again. Then you're going to pop that in with your beetroot. Now at this stage with this, you could just put this in a food processor as well and just pulse it to make it, break it down a little bit further. But that's looking good. Then we're going to take the onion of your choice. I'm using a banana shallot. So I've used about a quarter, actually about half of that banana shallot. They're quite mild in flavour. You could use a red onion. If you wanted to use red onion, just use a couple of tablespoons. So we've got the makings there of our quick chutney. All it needs now is a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So I've got this raw apple cider vinegar, just a touch. The acidity of that against the crispness and the sweetness of the cabbage is just going to be so beautiful. A little bit of salt in there as well. You can follow your recipe on the amount of salt, but it'd be really great after you've made this a couple of times if you just do it to taste. Okay, so we're ready to serve. I'm going to take a little bowl, and this is just a really great quick salad, a quick snack, but really, really fulfilling and hearty. And take a good bunch of our cabbage, pop that in, little side of the chutney. Okay, let's have a taste. And when you're tasting this, make sure you get a bit of that chutney, a bit of the cabbage. So good. It's amazing how that cabbage is so light still.